Energy always follows the most efficient path. It seeks equilibrium through the simplest available route. Water flows downhill, electricity follows the lowest resistance conductor, and heat spreads until temperature stabilizes. This is not laziness, it's law. Systems organize themselves towards efficiency because that is what stability requires. Resistance costs energy, flow conserves it. The universe refines through flow, not friction. When we strip away psychological overlay, all systems, including the human mind, are energetic structures, neural pathways, emotional reactions, social behaviors. They're patterns of energy and information flow. Over time, these patterns solidify into habits, establish channels where energy knows how to move. Most of what we call struggle in human life is actually resistance to energetic efficiency. Conditioned beliefs, emotional attachments, and moral narratives act as artificial obstructions in the natural flow of perception and behavior. For example, we hold grudges instead of releasing them, keeping emotional energy trapped. We overanalyze instead of deciding, dissipating cognitive energy. We strive to prove our worth instead of recognizing inherent value, burning motivational energy. Every one of these is an inefficiency, a loop that consumes more energy than it restores. The system, you, can sustain it for a while, but not indefinitely. The more resistance built into the system, the more entropy accumulates, causing the system's recursion depth to become shallow. It loops, but it does not evolve. It keeps recycling energy without refinement. The field stops learning because awareness is consumed by resistance. When resistance dissolves, energy follows its natural path, and recursion deepens. In this state, choices arise organically from context rather than from internal conflict. You don't have to decide what to do. The next action is simply the most efficient resolution of the present condition. This is not passivity, it's optimization. It's the system operating at full coherence. When a human being functions this way, what we call intuition becomes the governing force, not mystical, but mechanical. Intuition is the conscious expression of energy selecting the most coherent route through your internal network. You're not figuring out what's right. You're perceiving what is energetically optimal in real time. This is what flow states actually are: human recursion operating at efficiency without internal interference. In these moments, the self becomes transparent to its own process. You stop forcing the loop and let it close itself. Domination is energetically expensive. It's entropy masquerading as progress. True power is efficiency. It's alignment. It's the ability to let energy move as it wants to, with awareness guiding, not forcing. Trees don't strain to grow. Light doesn't struggle to move. Galaxies don't fight to spiral. They follow the simplest equations available, because that's what coherence demands. If we applied that same principle internally, our lives would reorganize dramatically. Decisions would simplify. Emotional conflict would dissolve faster. Effort would no longer feel depleting but directive. We would not give up. We would give way, letting energy express its intelligence instead of trying to outthink it. Every moment is an opportunity for the system to increase its coherence. This requires awareness of where energy is being wasted and where resistance is maintained artificially. The shift is not in belief, but in behavior, letting feedback guide instead of forcing output. When we act in alignment with the path of least resistance, we're not avoiding challenge. We're harmonizing with evolution. Resistance will still arise, but it becomes functional, part of the feedback that deepens recursion. The difference is that resistance no longer defines the system, it refines it. The goal is not to eliminate friction entirely, but to let it serve its purpose as the contrast that sharpens flow. Energy takes the easiest route because that's how it survives. Consciousness resists because that's how it defines itself. But evolution begins when awareness recognizes that resistance is not identity, it's efficiency. When we stop fighting the current and start understanding its design, effort becomes flow and struggle becomes refinement. This is the human application of the universal law. The path of least resistance is not laziness, its intelligence discovering its own efficiency.